Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining, wherever you're joining from. Good to have you here. Um, Welcome to another week. And this is Media Rex sending a monthly member chat. It doesn't show special on my screen on the stream, but it shows special in YouTube. That is a member for 24 months. There it is. Thanks, Meteorx, for being a channel member for 2 years. That's a long time. And hello from Las Vegas. I imagine it's hot there right now. It's hot here. And this is Portland, where it is not normally hot. Let me actually see if I can turn on the weather ticker. Oh, I moved it. I bet I can bring it back. And then we can see where it is, what temperature it is for everyone. There we go. Today it's supposed to get up to, what is the high today? The high is, we have an extreme heat watch warning. High of 93 Fahrenheit, which is like almost 35. Too hot. Too hot. The stack of switchers is getting larger. It is. I was working on that a little bit before the stream here. Trying to get it staged better and also wired. So I do have some of the wires running now. I don't have my, I'm going to have permanent cameras up there so you can actually see like close-up shots. But in the meantime, I will just have to do my little NDI camera so you can see what it is. Here are the switchers. So I've got the 2 distribution hubs of 1 HDMI in, 8 out. There's only 6 in use right now. I've got Duet 8 ISO, the Magewell Director 1, a good old ATEM Mini Pro ISO, because always need one of those, RØDECaster Video, YoloBox Extreme, and the SproLink NeoLive. And I have 2 inputs wired into each of them. So 2 HDMIs into each of them. You can see up on that Director 1, it is actually, in fact, live. It is grabbing one of the outputs of the main switcher here. Above that is where everything is wired up. So I've got 2 SDI to HDMI dongles. All the power supplies are up there. So I can actually turn the whole thing off if I want to, just with one switch. That, I think, is where I'm going to have a camera pointing down on the rack. We'll see how that goes. And then ATEM Mini Extreme up there. Oh my gosh, my hand is getting tired. ATEM Mini Extreme up there is for the reverse. So the so all of the outputs, or one of the outputs of each of the switchers, is going to go into the ATEM Mini Extreme and feed that back into here. That way I can show you the output of all those switchers. So show you the menu system and things like that. And so it's really just a 8-to-1 switcher that I'm using it for, but I'm not going to be streaming from it or anything. But it is clean switch that way instead of like a matrix, which would be like a hard switch. So the Portland Streaming Switcher Museum, not just a museum, they're all going to be functional and wired up and ready to demo at any time. Have you thought of mounting the TV on the wall and a little higher instead of the lean mount at the moment? Yeah, it's just sitting on the shelf because I have this little ledge that goes around the room. You can see it there. Sticks out 4 inches because that is below this is a concrete wall, and above that is the framing of the building. And I built the sheetrock in front of that, built a little wall in front of the concrete. So the TV is just sitting on that. I probably should, since I have a little bit of room left in the frame, I probably should just get some blocks, because this is actually a window. So I can't like actually mount it there. But I can get it up a couple inches, and I'm also going to redo the graphics, the chat for that, so that the messages show up higher up. Yeah, part of that wall is a window. Not that I ever open the window. Actually, that's not true. I do, when it's not 90 degrees out, I do open the window. Helps vent a little bit of this room. Yeah, so that'll be fun. I will hopefully get that set up in the next couple of weeks. I've just been doing little bits here and there as I've had time down here. I don't know if I'm going to do more of that today or if I'm going to go switch gears and go into house projects, because I got a lot of house projects and house wiring to do. If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. That's kind of the motto around here. Bowles promo says, I'd like to report that my live stream finally went extremely well with the addition of the EAP 772 outdoor. What is that? EAP 772. Is that a router? Wi-Fi 7 access point. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Tri-band 6-stream outdoor Wi-Fi 7. Uses the 6 gigahertz band. Nice. Connected 6 iPhone cameras with almost no latency on yesterday's live stream. Amazing. That's good to hear. Mother Skunk says, hi, Aaron, and hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Thurban James used OC ISO 8 to stream. So far, I've just done a couple of little tests with it. I do have a live stream demo of it at some point on this channel if you scroll back through the lives. I don't have like a video yet. But I now need to do a video since it's like their final firmware is out. Or the final firmware is out. The desktop software, I think, is almost done, or now it is done. I can't remember the exact date, but I remember they told me a date that was sometime soon. So I should do another demo of that. But once I get the lab, I'm going to call it the lab, I think. Once I get the lab up and running, I'll be able to do more live demos of that all the time. Quizpickle says, I'd like to send a wireless video signal from an iPhone to my RØDECaster video via AirPlay. I'd like a budget-friendly HDMI dongle to receive it. Can you suggest one? Couple ways to do it. You can get an old, like a used Apple TV, which is a good option. It does not need to be the newest, but I would actually recommend getting one with an Ethernet jack on it anyway, which not all of them have Ethernets. And that's one way to do it. They're not too expensive, especially used. If you want cheaper, let's see, what is the actual price of an Apple TV? Let's price shop. Apple TV, $50 to $75 on eBay for used ones, and that's not too bad. And then new Apple TV, make sure we get the one that has Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet. If you just go straight to the Apple Store, it's $150. So, okay, that's what we're working with for the price comparison. And then there are a lot of other options for other brand things that can receive AirPlay. One of the ones is, I did a video about it after they sent me their little thing. ASK, excuse me. Wow. Don't know what happened with my voice. ASK Nano, I'll drop the link in the chat. There is I think that might be the old link. I need to update the link. It comes in two different options, a dual. Yeah, this is the better link, it looks like. I will have to fix this. One second. I'll just drop this Amazon link until I fix the Genius link. There it is. So this one is the two receiver kit. So you don't need that. You can for cheaper get the one that has just one receiver. The deal with it is it can also be an AirPlay receiver in a certain mode. I have a video about this. Search the channel for RGB link. You'll probably find it. you can also get the one dongle version of it. It is the same price as an Apple TV. Now that I'm seeing this, $160. That's why I checked. So not necessarily going to save you money. But I like the Apple TV option just fine. I can actually show you what it looks like because I have one here. Let's do that. So I have a little I have a slideshow, like a Apple album slideshow as the screensaver for the Apple TV, and then so that way if it loses the signal or if it goes timeout, just is cycling through photos. But so the way it works is you AirPlay to the name of the Apple TV, and then your whole phone screen is mirrored. So now it looks like that. And obviously that's not what I want you to see. So we have to go open up a camera app of some sort. So you'll need a camera that has clean HDMI out, which Shoot, the app, does. So it looks like very minimal UI. This also supports NDI if you've got the upgrade. And then now, oh, this is not behaving well today. Sometimes this works better than others. Yeah, now it's super laggy. And it froze. Oh, that's not good. Normally this one works a lot better. Okay, let's try a different app. Maybe it's because it's also pushing out NDI at the same time. Let's turn that off. We are in... Okay, turn off NDI. Oh, my screen mirroring got lost. Oh, the other thing is it could be my Wi-Fi's fault because I have a lot of devices on a single access point here, which is not a good idea. This did help. Now it's better. So this is the Shoot app going over my phone, my Wi-Fi, which again is pretty saturated here, and I've even got like my building cameras. Some of them are on Wi-Fi, so if I had a dedicated access point for that, it would be better. Sven says some older Raspberry Pi should also work to receive AirPlay. Yeah, I've never actually done that, but it does. I have heard that. Yeah, so if you're looking for cheaper things than 150 or a used Apple TV, you're going to quickly find that they're just not very high power and they will be laggier. So I wouldn't recommend going too much cheaper. First time posting a question. I have a YoloBox Pro with the 4 ports. I want to ask briefly, is there a way for me to extend having an additional 2 ports for cameras? YoloBox Pro. This one's the Ultra. The Pro is in a drawer somewhere. The one option you have is to add a USB capture card, like a cam link. I should double check this one actually works with the YoloBox, but if the cam link doesn't work, there's definitely like something will work. This can give you 1 extra HDMI over the USB port on the YoloBox. It's not necessarily my favorite way to do it. The other option is to just start chaining switchers together. So if you get a OC GoStream, which I think are now like $200 for the original one. Oh, it was on sale. It's not on sale anymore. Now it's $300, back up to $300, which is the normal price, or an original ATEM Mini, which is actually all you need. Then that's just like a 4-to-1, or actually the GoStream would give you you don't need the second output, doesn't matter. So yeah, GoStream would give you 4 inputs, and then it would take one of the HDMI ports in your YoloBox. So that would give you, basically you chain them together so you get more switchers. You use the other switcher to switch what goes into one of your YoloBox ports, and then you switch to the other cameras in the YoloBox. I actually used to do my stream that way a lot of the time, and then I just started getting bigger. Well, then the ATEM Mini Extreme came out, but then I started getting bigger and bigger ATEMs. So that's the other option. Oh yeah, Nathan says Macs can also be AirPlay receivers. Don't know about stability. Actually, does work pretty well. I can show you that option too. So if I go back to SuperSource with my computer, I can also AirPlay to the Mac Mini, and that is going to just mirror my phone screen to the Mac. So that's my computer screen that you're seeing now. And now same thing applies. I have to go find a camera app that has clean HDMI out, and yeah, now I'll show you what I'm looking at in the room because that makes a little bit more sense. So my computer screen is now my phone camera, and it's, I would say, about similarly choppy as with the Apple TV because my Wi-Fi is saturated. Should really fix that. I guess soon it won't be a problem once I get oh, now I can't see the computer screen because it's taken up, so I have to like stop mirroring my phone, I guess, and then I get my computer screen back. There we go. So if you have an extra laptop lying around, it does require, I think it's the latest OS, but yeah. Mother Skunk says, can the RØDECaster video stream to more than one location at a time, YouTube and Twitch? I don't think it can, and mine is not, now that I put it up there, not on the network yet, so I can't go and check it. I'm trying to remember the streaming config. I don't think so. If it can, it's limited to 2. Somebody in the chat will remember. Giovanni says, I need to take my HDMI out signal and split the HDMI to Atomos Shinobi and encoder. Can you suggest a low latency splitter? Not a piece of junk. Blackmagic does not make one. Question. Is the Atomos Shinobi, let's see that device. What is that one? Is it only HDMI? Because if it has an SDI option, then that opens up more possibilities. Why can't you show me the side with the ports on it? It is just HDMI. Okay. And no pass-through. Wow. Okay, so some of the monitors have SDI in, some of them have HDMI in and pass-through, all of which would solve this problem. Again, and also some encoders have pass-through, so that would also solve the problem. HDMI splitters are kind of a toss-up if you're going like the actual HDMI splitter route. Sometimes the devices at the other end don't like them. Sometimes the cheap ones are flaky. Sometimes they're rock solid. Like, it's a total toss-up, wild world of HDMI splitters, but they're also extremely cheap. So you can get one for like $15 and try it, return it if it doesn't work. They're generally not going to add latency because they're not like really doing video processing. Blackmagic doesn't make one. Decimator would have something that you could use for that. I don't know what exact model I would recommend. Let's see, because they have a bunch of these things. So these are mostly SDI. I swear they had a whole HDMI one though. Are they old? I thought they had a bunch of, I really don't like all the spiders on this website. I thought they had HDMI ones. Huh. Now I'm wondering what I'm remembering. Oh, I think it's this one. They just don't have good pictures. Anyway, these are not necessarily cheap either, and they're going to do way more things than you need, so it's probably not a good option. That's not helpful. What are some other? Yeah, yes, I agree with John. It's hard in the HDMI world. SDI makes it a lot easier for sure. Oh, and thank you, IDJ Mike, for confirming the RØDECaster video does not support streaming to multiple platforms. There are some that do. The Director Mini, for example, does do 2 different streams, and you can set the 2 streams to output different things. So you could do, you can have one be like a pass-through of an HDMI, one can be your layout that you're doing. Or it probably makes something for the HDMI splitter question. Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I basically have that on the desk. One HDMI in, 8 out. I do like them, like their brand. Let's see. I'm sure they have a splitter. Again, like sometimes these things work fine, sometimes they don't. And it can depend on the device you're plugging into also. Oh, their HDMI splitter is $15. So that's great. I'll drop that one in the chat. So that's 1 in, 2 out. It actually says no HDCP bypass, which is the only thing they can do legally. So that's good, I guess. Aiden says, I've had success with the Aura HDMI splitters before. They do EDID emulation, so they play well with devices. Okay, that's good. So that's probably your best bet. That's definitely the cheapest. Mother Skunk says, have I ever used a Roland AV switcher like the Roland SR20 HD? I have. It's been a very long time. And then not that one, SR20 HD. Let's see what that one is. This one is, what have we got on this? Show me the back. Two HDMI ins, 2 HDMI outs, 4 audio ins, USB video in. Yeah, I've never used this one. The last one I used was a 4 input, didn't have a screen on it. It was basically like a little ATEM Mini, similar size to the ATEM Mini. Roland V, I think it was, oh wow, what was it called? V1 HD, that's what it was. And it used to be a lot more expensive. This one, it was fine. Not super fancy because it's pretty old. But it was nice and small. It was one of the first small switchers like this. And 4 inputs is enough to actually do stuff with. And it does have picture-in-picture, which is cool. Again, this was like, when did this come out? I think it was like 2015 or something. But I don't know. I kind of, after the ATEM Mini came out, then, well, I had used Blackmagic ATEMs before the Roland even, but they were only rack mount form factor then. And once the ATEM Mini came out, I was like, well, this is what I want. I want a small Blackmagic switcher, and I like it a lot better. Oh, are they any good? They're fine. They're totally fine. They're not my preference for switchers, but they're definitely like rock solid. But yeah. I guess the other alternative is to get another encoder with a pass-through. What encoder are you using? I'm curious. I'm curious why, because there's a lot of other options for encoders that will give you a lot more features. Gwen says, I used the V1H Plus for a while and it was fine, but it had its quirks. Yeah. Yeah. The V1H Plus, I think, isn't that like the newer version of the V1 HD? Did I order anything cool on Prime Day? Um, did I order anything cool on Prime Day? Not like, I guess not really like super good deals for anything. Let's see. What did I get? Um, I I got a bunch of stuff for the house. I got like keystone jacks and um, a door lock, a um, patch panels, keystone panels. Oh, I did get this array device for the house, and it was a good deal on Prime Day. Um, this is a matrix, HDMI matrix. So it's got 8 HDMI inputs, 8 HDMI outputs, but also each HDMI out is paired with an RJ45 jack. And this comes with 8 receivers, which grab power over the Ethernet jack, which is great. So you don't need a separate power supply. And the receivers have an HDMI out. So it's basically an 8x8 matrix, but you can run it over Cat5 cables. So that'll be fun. I got that for the house. It was, so it's $1,000. Oh, a 10% off coupon normally, but it was another like 10% off. So it was like $750 total or something. So that will be the that will be how I send some things to the TVs around the house. And I can start setting those up very soon because there's enough power and the painters are done enough for me to actually start doing things in there. It's pretty fun. Just yesterday, I hooked up a silly thing for Lily's studio, which is just playing this off my phone. I got this old telephone. It's an actual bell ringer, and I pulled a network jack into that spot behind the phone and wired it up with the telephone jack, and then it is now a extension that I can dial from the other phones. Oh, and I have the sound on the Apple TV off, but it is a very, very satisfying ring. And yeah, you can pick it up and you can dial from it. It's a rotary phone, but it actually does tones out, so you don't need your phone system to support pulse styling, even though the GrandStream gateway does. It's kind of fun. Yeah. Happy I didn't spend a cent. That's also good. Also very good. Are there still deals on Prime Day, or is it all marked up before? It's definitely the case that a lot of the Prime Day deals that you see are not, in fact, Prime Day deals. They're just the normal price because they will. Sometimes they will always be running a promo, and it'll just like always be 10% off or always be 15% off, and it'll always look like it's a discount. And then, I do use Camel to check price history of stuff. So like, here I can do it with this splitter I got, and I hope didn't get duped. Pretty sure I checked this before I bought it. Yeah, so the price history of this is almost always 1,000, and it has dropped before. Last fall down to 800, and a couple times in the last couple of months down to 850. It looks like. So yeah, it was like 750. I was like, okay, that's actually a good deal for it. One of the other tricks though is sometimes this price history tracker, it's great. Highly recommend using it, but sometimes the price history tracker won't reflect like these coupons. So if there's a coupon that they always run, then effectively the actual price is normally, 900 instead of 1,000, and the price history won't show that. So then they will take off the coupon during Prime Day, put a Prime Day deal on that, gets it back down to the normal price, and that's how they get you. So it's mostly not a good deal anymore. But sometimes there are things. Definitely did not go wild on Prime Day. I mostly got stuff I just needed, and it happened to be Prime Day. American Dream Team says, "What's the major difference between the Extreme and the Ultra, the YoloBox? In other words, what's the deal breaker for one or the other?" So the number of inputs, basically, they're like the same, mostly the same device, other than the inputs. I do think the Extreme has a better processor, which is good for just how long it'll be able to get updated. But the Ultra is also good. But inputs, right? So there's 4 inputs on here. 4 HDMIs on the Ultra, 8 on the Extreme. The Extreme has 2 HDMI outputs. It's also a lot bigger, a lot bigger. So that this is like, I like this size better than the Extreme size personally. I feel like this is much more manageable. The Extreme starts getting pretty chunky. What does that device do that I was price testing? Oh, that's the one I was talking about a second ago. The it's a 8x8 HDMI matrix, but also has Ethernet extenders for the HDMI, so that I can have 8 HDMI sources inside the closet, and then send over the Cat6 cable to the different TV locations, grab an HDMI copy out of the matrix at each TV. So that's a way to quickly, broadcast. I can put an Apple TV down in there and then play stuff on the Apple TV and broadcast it to every TV location, right? IDJ Mike says, "I would say YoloBox Extreme is more studio use than portable." I would, I would probably agree with that. Like, technically it's portable still because it has a battery, and got the nice cage for it that I put together on the stream last week from Inex 3D. That's the one it's right there, and that's why it's a little tipped. But it's big. It would be like, because it's so thick too, it's not necessarily going to fit in even any laptop cases. You're going to have to make sure you find one that supports a chunk thick enough if you're putting it in a case or in a backpack or something. Thinking about in the field use, that's what it's for. Like, it definitely is fine for that, but just it's also, I also feel like if you're actually got 8 cameras to run for something like that, it's just a lot more setup time. So of just all the cables. So what about the difference in the Wi-Fi capability between the two? There are external antennas on the Extreme, and there's not on the Ultra, so that will make a difference. The Ultra has all built-in, just built-in Wi-Fi antennas like all the other YoloBoxes. But on the Extreme, there are ports that you can connect an external antenna, and that could make a big difference. My son needs something like that. Got a link? Yeah. Yes, I do. It is... Oh. Not there yet. Let's find it. I'm looking forward to actually hooking it up once I get TVs for the house. I have one TV for the house so far. It is No, that's not true. I have two TVs technically. One of them is in the bathroom, and it's just playing a video on a loop out of looking out the train window, Portland to Seattle. Okay, there is the link. So I did manage to get because the TV in the bathroom was a very late addition to the project, but I did manage to slip a Cat 6 cable into the cabinet that the TV sits in, but it doesn't do a home run. It just goes to the office closet where there's another cable, so I could patch that into the matrix also. So it's a lot of TV locations for a two-person household. Yes, it is. It is. It is bathroom, technically, the living room, the speakeasy room, which actually has two locations because I wasn't sure where I wanted the TV to be. So it's got two possible locations for TV. I'm only going to put one in the room. So for all practical purposes, that's the third. And then the fourth is on the roof. So it's really just four. But I figured if I get the 8x8, one, it gives me 8 inputs, and two, I might want to route things to things that are not TVs. Like I can route one of those to a streaming encoder or into a cable TV encoder. So I think that's for the whole triplex. No, that is just, so there's effectively four actual TV locations in our unit. There is a TV location in the other two units each. I'm not planning on wiring those up to that matrix. Sven says, if my landlord would be feeding content on my screens, that would be something. I have thought about this because I do have a coax in the walls, and I've been thinking about actually putting stuff on the coax so I'll put an antenna on the roof to receive like broadcast TV, but there's a bunch of unused channels in the spectrum, so I can insert TV channels into the feed that you could then flip through on a TV, and that I might feed to the tenants because I could do things like the front door camera or like a little, like you'd see in a hotel, like a little weather forecast dashboard or something. I just think it'd be very cool. I think it'd be very fun. IDJ Mike here coming out with the specs. Thanks for this. YoloBox Ultra supports Wi-Fi 6. The Extreme supports Wi-Fi 7. I did not realize that they had upgraded to Wi-Fi 7 in addition to the external antennas. That is very good news. So that is a potentially very significant difference. Of course, your Wi-Fi access point needs to be Wi-Fi 7, but those are coming out now. Let me scroll back through the questions here. A feed for my YouTube channel. Yeah, I'll just put all my YouTube videos on an endless loop on one of the channels. I think that'd be actually really funny. Be really funny. Does anybody have recommendations between the Canon R10 and the Sony ZV-E10 for recording 1080p or something else? Planning to buy either one with a Sigma 18-50 lens. Only for recording or streaming also? I think for recording, no. Choose your preference based on your own camera preferences. What is the Canon R10? This one. For streaming, you need to check for things like can it be powered continuously over USB or with a DC battery adapter? Does it have clean HDMI out? Can it do clean HDMI out and record at the same time internally if you care about that? And I definitely do not know the details of the Canon R10, but I can say for sure that the ZV-E10 is a solid option. Clear Life Media, has anybody ever used any retractable equipment? Want to put a mic in our lighting grid that can go up and down when it's not in use? Any recommendations? There's a ton of arms, like mic boom arms, but I guess that may not work for going up into a lighting grid. Good question. I haven't played around too much with this. Matt says Matt votes for ZB E10s. 30 of them, deploy 30 of them over a few years. Yeah, it's a solid camera for sure. Is there any possible way to get a webcam out and recording from an ATEM Mini Pro simultaneously? No. That is the limit with the Mini Pro, that because it has one USB port. So either webcam out or plug in a hard drive. Take your pick. But if you don't need it to be an ATEM in particular, take a look at the OC GoStream, because they basically fixed everything that was annoying about the ATEM Mini Pro. Let me grab the link. It's also $300. So cheaper than the ATEM Mini Pro, or same price now. Now I can't remember if the ATEM Mini Pro is permanently dropped to $300. I think it's. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what is their current ATEM Mini Pro new permanent price is $325. Okay, Pro ISO is $545. So yeah, for same price as that, you get the OC GoStream, which has 2 USB ports, 2 HDMI outs. So that means you can use it as a webcam and record, and basically do all the combos of things that you wouldn't be able to do with the ATEM Mini. It's a good option. Did I ever get to test out the OBSBot Tail 2? No, I haven't. I remember they said they were out of stock of their eval units. That was back in May, and I haven't followed up because I just have not had any time anyway. So, but I should do that. Matt says, if I was buying today, no chance I would get a small ATEM GoStream Duet. Or 8 are far better boxes. Mr. Magoo has not had a good experience with the OCs. Had 3 brick on you. That's really surprising. I'm very curious what's happened with that, because 3 in a row sounds very unusual. Gwen says, I'm curious what folks use for stage timer during shows. John software, hardware clock time, or something else. Put your votes in the chat for sure. The one that I know about, which I've used before, although I don't have a ton of excuses to use this, it's not actually from John, but you'll see his face on the homepage. It is a very cool piece of software. And John has a video about it. That's why his face is on the homepage. I should do a video about it and then to put my face on the homepage. Yeah, this is solid though. It's a good option. It's all like a web-based thing. Although no, now they have a downloaded version. Yeah, they have a desktop app too. But it started as just a website, and it's cool. It's a good tool. Mother Skunk says, Cinetrix Stream 1 is comparable to the Go Stream, but with 2 picture-in-pictures and a couple other added features. Haven't used it much, but so far it's pretty decent. Cool. I think not that one. Now I'm looking around on the floor because it's sitting somewhere here. I have one in the Cinetrix. I can't remember which model anymore. It seemed fine. Where was I? IDJ Mike, how is the zoom? Oh, is that on the tail 2? Great for a large office. A 5x optical Yeah, I'm really happy they added optical zoom to that. But the digital is also great because the sensor is so big. Hopefully I can get one of those in here. We all know Aaron will need all 8 eventually. I will figure out something to do with the other ones for sure. Yeah. Gwen says, I almost got the OC M2 mini switcher during Prime. I wanted something to super source 2 cameras so a volunteer could see the camera and shoo people away if they blocked. I'd love that use case. That's great. That's the little tiny baby one, right? I got that one a while ago because I was just, where did it go? This one. This is 2 inputs, 1 output, and it does basic picture-in-picture or side-by-side, but not side-by-side like Super Source. It's just like split view, but picture-in-picture. And then you can like, or do full screen on each. It's a cool little box. It's not a full switcher, obviously, but also is something that is a sign that they like, clearly they can make tiny utility things like this. And I have a long list of things that I would like in small things like this that are very special purpose and small and have physical buttons. A lot of the things you can do with the Go Stream, the full Go Stream, or an ATEM Mini or whatever, but I want it to be smaller and have fewer buttons. Is the bike trailer finished? It is. I showed some videos of it, I think last week, of rolling it around during the ride. Now I need to load it up with some video gear and do that again. It's very cool. It's very cool. So I will have to find a weekend that is not 95 degrees because it is already too hot to go outside. And then go grab some cameras and go to the airport or something. I don't know what I'm going to film. Razor Baby says, can you talk about the virtual Stream Deck software? I don't know if I can talk about that. Let me see what that is. This your on-screen workspace controller. So it's like having a Stream Deck on your screen. Interesting. I guess I could see that being handy, but I feel like the whole point of a Stream Deck is that you get physical buttons. Plus, I don't even use the Stream Deck software. I use Companion with the Stream Deck, so I don't know. Interesting. I guess I can see some uses for it, but I mostly don't even automate my computer with the Stream Deck. I mostly automate the video hardware that I have around here, so not probably not something I will be using. Oh, this is a good point. It's good to test stuff with or try the Stream Deck with your use case before you buy. Yeah, that makes sense for sure. What process did you have for people to receive their picture booth photos? So I used this very cool software. It's like a V2 of a software that I used a couple of years ago that he's mostly abandoned. The developer is mostly abandoned and replaced it with this other one, which is fancier. What was the other one called? Wi-Fi booth. So the first one I used several years ago is Wi-Fi booth, and this I liked it a lot. But if you go to their website now, they're like, we built a new app for pros. Booth.events is a next gen platform. It's not free, but it was reasonably priced, and it can do things like control mirrorless cameras over USB or Wi-Fi, although I always have better luck over USB. And this time I used their new one. I wanted to try it. So I tried their new one called Booth.events, and I did this is like made for pros, meaning you are running a photo booth business, which I am absolutely not. But they have they have this option, which is what I ended up doing. Gets you into their pro tier for 4 events. So you make an event, and that uses up one of your event slots. So it was the cheapest way to do this, because I'm not going to do this very often, so I don't want a monthly plan, and I definitely don't want to spend $80 even just for one event. So this was a way to get 4 credits, and now I can do 3 more events. And the event isn't even necessarily time limited, so it was a good way to do it. Anyway, this is the software that I used. The cool thing about it is in that pro tier, it lets you do things like use an iPad as like a print station. So, and then phones as cameras or camera controllers. So you can plug in a USB. I plugged in the ZV-E10 over USB to my phone. So the ZV-E10 was the actual lens, but then the phone was controlling it and grabbing the photo. And then it would upload it to their internet, to the service, and it would show up on the iPad app almost immediately. And that is where you then go and like click and print it. So you have a printer. I had a Canon selfie printer, which is a little 4x6 sheets, and it was on the Wi-Fi that I had in the cart. And it meant that basically I could snap a picture on the phone, go to the iPad, click print, photo prints out immediately. And then I had a separate iPad that was just on the internet, pulled up to the browser of the, it was like a rolling slideshow. And in that, whenever it would show a picture, it would also show a QR code where people could download their picture. So let me see if I feel like I took a bunch of photos of this. I did. So now I can explain this a little better. So that is actually just an HDMI monitor now inside that Mac, plugged into the iPad. The iPad, so this is, oh no, this iPad was the one that was pulled up to the web page. So this is the website that just goes through a slideshow of everything, and it's showing the last couple pictures taken and a QR code where you can download the photo. And there's the printer. So this printer is on, uh-oh. Hope you can't hear the music. So that's the printer. The photos print in like 4 passes. It was kind of cool. And I was giving those out to people as they were at the booth. And I had a little paper cutter to cut them in half. And then, oh, I didn't apparently take a photo of the iPad that was printing. Oh no, I did it differently for that one. That's right. So there's multiple ways you can, no, I did have the iPad there. There it is. So yes, that iPad is, that's where they show up in the queue, and then you just hit print and it'll spit it out. It's a cool app. It's really well done. It's not cheap, but it's fine because like it's a well done application, and I guess, you know, people need to get paid for their work. Use Screen Deck. It's free by Joseph Adams. What is that one? Screen Deck. Oh, and there's another familiar face. Virtual on-screen stream deck for companion. Okay. Do I have to install it or can I download it? I can download it. I might have to try that. That's cool. That sounds cool. Go check out David's video too. Screen Deck is virtual companion. That sounds cool. IDJ Mike says, which DJI drones do you have and intend to upgrade? If so, which one and why? Oh, last photo booth question. Did you sell the prints or give them away? I just gave them away. I was not trying to run this as a business. People were very happy though. Which DJI drones do I have? I have the DJI Mini 2, which I now don't use anymore, and I think my registration for it has expired. I'm not going to renew it. And I upgraded that one to the 3 when the 3 came out. There were a couple of pretty good features in the 3 that made me want to upgrade, and that's my main drone that I use. And then I did also get the tiny Neo, and I got that because of the enclosed propellers, and the weight means that you can fly over people with a commercial license with it. With other still some caveats there, but sadly it got run over during the bike ride in June, and I need to do this project, which is to replace the motor. So I got this, finally showed up. It took a couple weeks to arrive, and I need to now take it apart and replace this motor, because I think when it got run over, I think the shaft got bent, so there's no way to fix that motor. But I should be able to theoretically solder this one in and get the drone working again, which I guess is what the DJI what do they call it? It's not warranty. Their like replacement service plan is for, where I would just send it in and they would have sent me back a new one by now, which I did not buy, and I will have to fix it myself now. Matt says, when I did meet and greet photos, I was very simple. I created a folder in my SmugMug account and then created a QR code and printed on a business card, and they downloaded it after I uploaded them. That also works. That's a nice, simple way to do it. I just like the immediacy of handing out printed photos and the QR code, scan the QR code. People definitely liked to get the photo right then and like post it on Instagram immediately and not like wait until later, which was fun. DJI Care, that's the one. What do I think about BitFocus Listener? Is that different than satellite? I know BitFocus satellite. I have not heard of BitFocus Listener. Oh, is that the... Oh, that link didn't work. Is that the one that gives control of... lets you control things on your computer through Companion? Was there video coverage of it getting run over? No, I wish there was though. It happened so fast. Because I had ridden ahead of the ride, pulled over to the sidewalk, and got the Neo out, and I had set it on the ground. And this is the problem with trying to film bike rides with drones, is the drones do not like being moved when they're not flying. So like if they tilt too much, it'll like lock itself and say like you have to like reboot because it got confused about where it is. So effectively, like I wanted to just transport the drone powered on, like on the back rack, and then be able to just take it off and fly, but you can't do that because it ends up locking itself up. So instead, you have to power it down and then power it up when you're ready to take off. When it takes like there's a little boot up sequence, but then it also has to get its GPS signal, so it ends up taking a while, right? So what I'd done was I pull over to the side. I was ahead of the ride. Pull over to the side, put it down on the ground on the sidewalk, and I'm standing like 3 feet away from it, right? Like I'm just like right there. I'm standing on the sidewalk. The drone's right in front of me. There's nobody around anywhere. And then I was powering it up, and I remember seeing the ride coming in the street. You know, they're in the street, but then and they started passing me before the drone was ready to take off. And then I think what it was is somebody who was not on the ride, who was trying to just go somewhere on their bike, was biking on the sidewalk to get around the ride. And they were very distracted by, the chaos of hundreds of riders taking over the street briefly, and clearly did not see the drone on the sidewalk because it is gray on a gray sidewalk and it's extremely small. And I was just standing there like waiting for it to get its GPS signal. And then I look up and there's a bike riding on the sidewalk pretty fast. And I just watched them head straight for the drone and went straight over one of the propellers. And I was like, are you serious? That just happened. I think I have a photo of where it got run over. Apparently not. I do have a photo of the poor drone. That's the underside, so I guess that's it hitting the sidewalk after being run over. I thought I took a picture of it sitting there on the sidewalk. Oh well. RIP. It was still like on, and then when I got home, I tried to do a liftoff sequence, and it was like, no, we cannot. Should have hand launched the Neo is correct. I should have hand launched the Neo. Or a drone heliport on the video cart. Yes. Or even just the back rack of my bike. I need a drone heliport. Because I have this like big platform on the back of my bike that could absolutely be a drone heliport. BitFocus Listener allows you to do keystroke and mouse control in Companion. Okay, that's super cool. I have not tried it. Maybe I should. I wonder what could I do with that? I don't know what I would even do with that. Because like, I guess what would be handy is application switching, because sometimes I lose track of the windows on here of like between the chat and like the ATEM software control. So I could see the benefit of having a button that would like launch, like switch to the application. I don't know if I need to move the mouse around with buttons, but I'm visualizing the story as an action movie sequence with a bike coming out of nowhere. And yes, pretty much. Yeah. Matt says, I love my Neo as it's so small that you can use it anywhere. The problem is like in Iceland, it can't handle wind very well. Oh yeah, no, it does not handle wind. It's super tiny. I was even worried about I did fly I think it was the Mini 2 is what I had when I was in Iceland. And it was really windy in some of those places we went. And I was a couple times legitimately worried it was not going to come back. But I did not crash my drone in Iceland, thankfully. Axis Production says, what do you think of the Mac Mini M4? I have not bought a new Mac since the M2. I bought a Mac Mini M2, which is what I'm using right now, and I bought a MacBook M2, which is my main laptop. And they have been fantastic. They've been super great. I imagine the M4 is just going to be even better. So I don't think I need to upgrade this right now. It seems to be working fine still. Although if I leave OBS running for a week, it will eat up all of the RAM because I have like web pages loaded into OBS, and there's clearly something causing it to not release memory. But the other than that, like this computer is totally fine. I don't really think I need to upgrade. What would I get? Mac Mini. I could get 24 gigs of memory instead of 16. You don't get more Thunderbolts on this, do you? Oh, you do. You have three now. I think the M2 Mac Mini only has 2 Thunderbolts, so that's useful. I would probably and you can get it with 32 gigs, so I would do that. I would probably get the 1 terabyte SSD and 10 gig Ethernet at this point. But I don't know. Is it? I guess the one thing it would let me do is what I would probably do is use that for the main computer here, and then leave the Mac Mini M2 here running OBS only, and just having it be just for the graphics. Although then it's harder for me to show you stuff, but I guess that could. I can always run a second OBS just to demo. Razor Baby says I have a Mac M4 Pro. Okay, what's the M4 Pro? Honestly, sometimes it is hard to keep track of what. Is that the Mac Studio or is that a laptop? Have it running Blackmagic Resolve on 4 monitors and not a hiccup. That's super cool. Companion listener helped me control an application that did not have official companion support, says Trevor. That makes sense. That's cool. I'll have to check that out. Have I looked into the GL-iNet Comet KVM? I like pre-ordered one, and it took so long to arrive that by the time it arrived, I had moved on to other projects, and I have not actually plugged it in yet. It does look very cool. I agree. My plan was to what was the first thing I was going to do with it? I think it was going to go onto my Home Assistant computer, which sometimes needs to get rebooted, and also, I could plug it into the Chaos router that's in this rack. That would be a good one for it. This is a fun live stream, even at 3 a.m. in Australia. That's very early. Mother Skunk says, if you multi-stream on the YoloBox, is there a way to see all the chats at the same time, or are they each under their own tab? How is the audio? Those are a lot of questions. Yes, they all the chats do get pulled in to the window, assuming that you're using the streaming connection to that platform, not RTMP. So like you have to actually log into YouTube and log into Facebook and stuff. Otherwise the comments won't show up. How's the audio? I've definitely had mixed success with audio on the YoloBox. Sometimes the analog is like not loud enough, even if I've cranked everything up to the top. And then audio over USB, at least, I haven't tested this in the extreme yet, but USB audio has sometimes been flaky as well. This is another way to say it. IDJ Mike says there can be much controversy on the audio quality. Yes. ID Never Gets Old says, I find the concept of Thunderbolt on the ATEM Extreme G2 intriguing in concert with the Mac Mini. I agree. I think that is a very, very interesting concept. It is a because the ATEM Mini Extreme G2 basically has the Ultra Studio with key fill outputs built into it. Which is going to be very, very useful for doing graphics without a bunch of extra stuff. And Thunderbolt connection to the Mac means your graphics can go directly into the ATEM without another cable, without another device. So I think that's going to be a super useful combo. Matt uses a RØDECaster Pro 2 via USB to the YoloBox with no issue, and is an audio snob. That's good. Yeah, I feel like the audio issues over USB very much depend on what USB device is getting plugged in. So that's good to know that the RØDECaster Pro 2 is a good option for that. IDJ Mike says, have I seen the new RC2 Pro that comes with the Mavic 4 Pro Creator Package, has HDMI output and 2000 nits screen? Ooh, that is that's exciting. Oh, I wonder if that means the RC2. Remember the RC controllers, they are very counterintuitive in terms of which of the wireless video protocols they support for the DJI drones. So they don't always work with all the drones. And I wonder if that one would work with the... Because I think the Neo doesn't work with the old RC Pro. So I wonder if this one does work with the Neo. That'd be kind of cool. Have I seen the specs of the Mavic 4 Pro? No, I haven't. I definitely have not even looked at it. 6K 30 frames per second. I mean, that's great. I don't know why I'm hesitant to get a big drone. Maybe it's because I'm hesitant to get an expensive drone. Although I haven't crashed a drone. I've just had one gotten run over. So maybe I should not be so scared of getting an expensive drone. Razor Baby says, I control my home system Director Mini with OBSBot Tail 2 cameras to run streaming remotely. That's super cool, yeah. I did almost get hit in the boat by the drone. I guess that was technically a crash. It did not damage the drone, but it was technically a crash landing. I would do that differently if I fly a drone from a boat next time. I'm gonna try to land on the roof of that boat. If it was bigger and made more noise, maybe the biker would have avoided it. Well, it wasn't actually like spinning at that time. It was just sitting there. Yeah. It was a flyby landing. I guess it was a crash landing. It was just a horizontal crash instead of a vertical crash. Yeah. Okay, what's going on? Oh, use the Comet for the Director Mini? Is that what you're saying? That's a cool idea. Although the Director Mini has a web interface, so you don't really need to KVM it. But I guess you could. RC2 Pro can also work with the Mini 4 Pro and the Air 3S. Yeah, I haven't bought a new drone in a while other than the Neo. I'm gonna wait. I think I don't need to upgrade anything right now. AJ Media says, question, I have two Panasonic camcorders, one Sony a7 III, going through the ATEM Mini SDI, sound through the Allen Heath CQ AT&T latency was really delayed on the Tail 2. Other cameras are on point. Any suggestion? Wait, what's the Tail 2? Is that... I assume that's also HDMI. Generally, every camera is going to have its own HDMI delay, and there's not really a lot you can do about that. I haven't tested the Tail 2 yet, but Matt might know what the delay is like, if that's expected. Even the Lumix cameras I'm using here are significantly more delayed compared to the Sony cameras. So really, there's not a lot you can do. The best suggestion is to use the cameras, if you're using cameras with mismatched delay, use them in a way where people won't notice. So, like, if you have two different brand cameras with very different delays and they're both doing close-ups of somebody talking and you cut between them, people will notice that there's like out of sync audio, or like something was repeated, like if someone's like waving their hand and then you cut between cameras, you'll see like a repeat of the hand wave. So instead, you can have one of your cameras as close up, one is wide, and people probably won't notice the details of the slight delay on the wide shot. Or if you have like an overhead camera, like this doesn't matter if it's delayed because you can't see my lips in this shot, so you would never know, right? Yeah, hopefully that gives you some ideas. Matt says I crashed my drones a lot, but only damaged one. The DJI FPV hacked it so it would go 80 miles an hour. That is too fast. That's insane. I feel like there's actually some rules around how fast these drones can go too. Like, I don't think they're just straight speed limits. I think they are based on the weight of the drone, because that has to do with like force of impact if it crashes. Matt says the latency on the SDI port is much worse than HDMI. That makes no sense. That's super weird. I wonder what is going on in that camera. It's a torpedo, not a drone. Yeah, 80 miles an hour is way too fast. I feel when I send the DJI Mini 3 at full speed, it goes like 20 miles an hour, and I'm trying to picture that on the ground, and that seems very fast because I'm riding my bike at 20 miles an hour, and if I'm just trying to picture, like, because the drone's so high and it looks like it's so slow when it's way up there. But anyway, 20 miles an hour feels fast. I can't imagine 80. Joseph says, after signing up for the beta testing of RØDECaster video, is there any blog or place where experiences can be shared? There is a Discord, which they should have added you to if you are in the beta test program. Ask them for the Discord link from whoever you got the beta from, and that is where they've been doing feedback and stuff. So that'd be my recommendation. Red Bull has a drone that can keep up with an F1 car. I have not seen that video. That's insane. Gwen says, I wish DJI had a remote that supported OP3. Virtual joystick in Mimo app sucks. Yeah, I will not fly a drone with a virtual joystick on a screen that I need physical thumb thingies. Joysticks, that's the word. Okay. I think we're gonna wrap this up because it has been over an hour. This has been fun. Random stream for today. Hopefully soon I can get this up and running. I'm gonna maybe spend another half hour wiring it after the stream, and that will maybe I can get it in shape enough to use next week. I need a network switch, 8-port network switch for that. Actually, probably more than that because I have 2 cameras I want to plug in, which are going to be PoE. So I probably should just get I think I have a 16-port lying around somewhere. So I need that. I need to run all the HDMI cables from the outputs of those devices into the ATEM that is up above that shelf, and more SDI runs around the desk to get the inputs and outputs, and that should do it. And then I will then they will all be on the network, and I will have video in and out. So I should be able to make, this could be a fun stream to set up once it's all wired, is to set up layouts and Stream Deck buttons for everything. Because what I'm imagining is being able to create SuperSource presets of my computer screen, the output of one of the switchers, and then me over on the side, which is going to involve, for each switcher, right? So 6 different presets. So that involves configuring SuperSource, but also choosing what goes out that ATEM Extreme up there to grab the right screen. I think it'll be a fun stream. Maybe I'll do that as a members stream for channel members. Once I get it all wired up, then we can do all that fun stuff. Wish me luck on my cataract surgery tomorrow morning. Oh my gosh, good luck. That's scary. I like thumb thingies better. Which Ethernet cables do you choose for that project? It doesn't really matter because it's such a short distance. But what I usually have been getting for those is these very slim cables that are like flat. So like these will not work on long distances because they're not actually twisted up right. But for short distances, it doesn't matter. And this way they're just like easier to bunch and run in weird places. So probably grab a few more of those if I don't already have enough. Where am I going to put the AV cans? It is actually still on that shelf. It's just right out of the frame. And I think it'll stay there. I will also need to redo the presets of it because I think I had to shift it over a little bit. And it's probably, yeah, it's not lined up anymore. So I'll have to redo my presets on that, but that'll be a good stream. Copywriting thumb thingies for remote controllers. Yeah. Okay. That's enough. We're done. We are done. I posted the video in Discord. Totally worth watching a drone do 350 kilometers an hour. That's okay. I will watch that. If you are in the members Discord, go find that link also. And with that, we will wrap this up for today. Thanks to the extreme supporters of the channel, Tom, Larry, Andre, Kevin, and Marcin. And thanks to all the other channel members as well. Really appreciate your support. If you are a channel member, make sure you join the members Discord, which is where you will find the link to that drone video and also chat throughout the week about what's going on and maybe some BTS photos of the wiring that I'm doing here or the phone projects that I've been setting up in the house. And yeah, it'll be fun. We'll be back next week. Pretty sure. Don't see why not. Same time, same place. And because I'm not going to Madrid next week. Yes. I will see you all again soon. Have a great rest of the week. Stay cool. Drink lots of water. And yeah, we'll see you again next week. Bye.